All right, this is the watch list for Tuesday, April 14th. RADA, you had this big spike back here on 20 million shares. And then, the high of that 2-day run was 325. You put in a little bit of a lower high at 319. And then today, came down to support and kind of trying to break back out to the upside today. And it hit a high of 260. Nope, that's not right. 288. Closed at 278. So this is interesting. If this can take out today's high, Monday's high on Tuesday, over 288, this one might get going. So I definitely like RADA. Big mover at times. BCLI, another cheapie. Tried to break out on Friday, kind of put in a quiet inside day today. I want to watch this over 470. In other words, if it breaks Monday's high, then you might just push up and take out last Friday's high too. Not a lot in the way of that one. PSTR, this one is a little bit farther away from the moving averages, but also kind of a big volume day on Friday and then kind of a quiet inside day today. So over 544, PSTR might just get going again. That thing's been crazy strong. W, trying to break out over this 34 area. It really tried on Friday, gave a lot of it back, then gapped up today and did close above its open. So I've got a couple prices that are interesting to me, trigger prices, if you will. It had a late afternoon spike to 34.39. I like this, so like around 34.44, right about here where my arrow is. That might be enough to get it going through Monday's high, which would be 34.85, and then you have last week's high of 35.34. Sorry. So you have what we call stacked catalysts, and I'm going to look to take a long if it gets to 34.44, assuming a fairly flat open. It's definitely worth watching. It IPO'd back here in October and went up to 39.43, and it looks like it's trying to work its way back up there. It's a pretty thin stock, so it moves pretty well at times. That's W. DGLY did not give me any kind of trigger today. Took off right out of the gate, then put in a lower high, lower lows, and just kind of tailed off all day. So this just goes back on bounce watch for the same reasons. I still love the story. I still think this one is going to be higher from here, and I think one of these days it's going to break out through 16. I don't know if it is, so I don't have any money at risk, right? I'm waiting for a proper setup. So what I'll be looking for on Tuesday is simply a narrow range for a while, then an upside break, something like that. But there's other things I'd be interested in a gap down, and then a break if it's early high, and certainly interested in a few other setups as well. So since I don't know how it's going to trade tomorrow, and tomorrow may not be the day, it may just be another day where I don't get a trade in it, right? It doesn't give me any kind of setup. But I definitely want to have DGLY on watch. YOKU had a big run here from 12 to 16. That's a big move. And now it's 3 days lower and hitting the 8-day and the 20-day. So YOKU goes on bounce watch. CMCM, this one's a little weird looking, but it had a big rally from 18 to almost 26, and now you're down for a few days. So that one also, it's near the moving average support and all that. So I definitely want to look at CMCM for a potential bounce. GBSN, this one. Great trade today. I called this one at the open as a gap play at 362 right there with a 342 stop right there. And the thing went up huge from there. From 362 entry, it went all the way to 495. I mean, I think it was like 30% move or something in one day. And it gave back some of its gains, but still great volume today. And this one just goes back on long watch tomorrow for another possible upside trade. I don't have any kind of trigger price. We'll just watch it trade and see if it gives one of the setups we look for. All right? And then Tplm. It's the last one I've got on my watch list. This thing closed at 510. There's nothing very interesting about the chart. No, it didn't. Sorry. It took my chart a little bit to load. Closed at 576. It's got interesting breakout area over 6. That's not what I want. I want line tools here. So you can see here on the chart, it's interesting if it can get through 6. Well, in after hours, it's at 616. I believe they reported. So this could be a good gap play. If it opens up above 6, I want to watch this for a possible gap play, the way we teach our members to trade those. So, and that is it. We'll hopefully find some nice gappers in the morning. We are getting into earnings season here, so there should be plenty of stuff to trade. Had a very nice day today, thanks to GBSN and a few other smaller gainers, but no losing trades for me today. So I'm hoping to keep that streak going. And I do that on a fairly regular basis, just by having the philosophy that I'm not going to trade unless it meets one of my setups, unless it meets my parameters. A lot of people really, really struggle with that. They always want to be in a trade. They always have to be in something. I don't. It's what's turned my trading around over my career, is being extremely comfortable sitting in cash and waiting for just my number one, my A+ setups. And if I don't get one, I simply don't trade. I've also pretty much completely eliminated trading during the lunch period when things are slow and choppy. So just a couple adjustments like that can make a huge difference in your trading. Really make something be an A+ setup, one of your favorite setups, or don't trade. I'd rather do that than just try this and try that and then have to dig my way out of a hole. A lot of people, they'll just jump all over the place, lose a bunch of money, and then they'll say to themselves, okay, now I'm going to focus on my A+ setups. Well, if you start focusing on your A+ setups, you're not digging your way out of a hole. You are building, you're building profits instead of digging your way out of a hole. So it's a pretty good philosophy to adhere to when trading. All right, I'll quit babbling and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.